And how about the Simpsons? How about the Simpsons keep fucking
predicting
calling it
everything?
They predicted the Apple Vision Pro. There's an old Simpsons episode where people are walking around with those goggles and they're falling into manholes, and now you're seeing people out there in the street swiping things and moving away and wearing these goggles on the street.
I can't believe they got Trump on the escalator, though. That, to me, is one of the craziest ones, when they got him riding the escalator down like he did in that one moment where I think he had just declared for the presidency, and he kind of rode this elevator down.
Yeah, how did the Simpsons do that? This is what I think.
Time traveler?
I don't think time traveler, but I think that if you're so into...
Right
here it is.
Yeah.
Look at this. They literally had Trump waving. It's the same photo. It's so crazy. God, that's so nuts. Oh, wait a minute. People think the Simpsons predicted Trump's win, but it's what? What does that say, Jamie, on the right-hand side? What are they saying? It's not true? It's not true. Viral image claiming this show, scroll back up, called the 2016 electoral map has nothing to do with Trump. The claim the Simpsons not only foresaw Donald Trump's run for president, but also predicted which states he'd carry, making the rounds as wrong. The claim is wrong.
Oh, they're just saying they claim too much, I would believe. But that picture...
But the picture is they had Trump coming down the escalator, and he was going down the escalator, and he did wave his right hand. I mean, like, the thing is, it's the same image. Like, no matter what, the fact that he did that, and they predicted it, I feel like some people, if you're intensely creative, and clearly those guys are, if you're constantly, you have your thumb on the pulse of satire and culture and where things are headed, I think you can see things. I think you get whispers from the muse. I think the universe sends you messages. There's there's been talk about that in Diana Pasulka's book, American Cosmic, the first book.
Jamie he gave me the rec before he got here. He was talking about
she's fascinating.
I'm going to read that. Yeah.
But in that book, one of the things that they go into is 2001 and the monolith, like that these whatever that is that brings this monolith to these primitive primates. And they see this thing, and this thing sort of represents where they're going to and what the future is. It's kind of, I mean, in the book they theorize whether or not that's a television, or it's a screen, or it's a cell phone. But it's this something that's pulling us towards it. And that Kubrick recognized that. But Kubrick was a fucking genius. Like a real scary genius. Like, he would do complex mathematics in his spare time. And all of his movies were encoded with all this weird, like, Easter eggy stuff. Like The Shining.
Shining with the shirt.
It's all about the moon landing.
Yeah.
Even the amount of miles to the moon is the exact same number as the room that was haunted. The kid wearing the NASA shirt.
Yep.
Like, there's so many things that people connect with the moon landing. And then the ultimate conspiracy theory was that Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Oh, that, yeah.
That's the best one. I love that one. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut's pretty
Oh
pretty
my
crazy
God.
movie.
That is pretty crazy. Because back when Eyes Wide Shut first came out, everybody's like, well, that's not real. And then you hear about Epstein's Island, you're like, maybe it was. Maybe there are parties like that.
There's a conspiracy that he was killed because of that movie.
Really?
You know about this? So supposedly he showed the movie to the executives, and they wanted him to take out 15 minutes of the movie. Everybody got kicked out of the theater. I mean, again, I'll probably get fact-checked on this, and then a few days later.
Where'd you read this? Was it on Reddit?
Let's see it. Come on.
Here it is. Kubrick died of a heart attack 6 days after showing the final cut of Eyes Wide Shut to Warner Brothers, making it the final film he directed. He reportedly considered his greatest contribution to the art of cinema. Wow.
But I suppose he got into a yelling match with the executives about some of the stuff that was in it.
Was he murdered because of Eyes Wide Shut? But what was so egregious about that film that they would murder him, though? I mean, exposing too much.
Sex cults.
Yeah, I don't trust
elites?
Quora. I don't trust any fact-checking organizations
weird
anymore.
Number things at the bottom. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he died 5 days later.
That's, I mean, that's
People get nutty with that
I guess
stuff.
a little crazy.
Yeah,
But that's a crazy movie. The fact that he did,
yeah,
he kind of showed some of that stuff. There's weird stuff like at the end of the movie too, when those two guys come and get their daughter and stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff.
Well, that weird stuff, it used to be so easy to dismiss. But now, it's the Alex Jones was right meme. Like, and you realize how many times that guy's been right? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, how is he so good at predicting all these things that are happening? Because the guy's balls deep in it all day long.
Yeah.
You could call him right now. It's like, I'm doing the documents. I'm reading the research right now. This is sick. This is what they're doing. This is the plan. I talk to him all the time. We text each other. Every time something's crazy, I'll text him. Like, what is this? And he'll send me all these fucking documents.
He's talking about, I saw something he said the other day about, you gotta have your shit ready in case they turn the power off, turn the water off, do something like that.
Well, there's a lot of people that think that, including me. Because if I was a foreign government and I wanted to cripple America, I would kill the power grid. We'd go feral in 2 weeks. It would be chaos in 2 weeks. As soon as people don't have water and food and their children are starving, people go crazy. They start eating dogs. They start shooting deer in their neighborhood, and then that runs out. And then they realize they don't know how to keep food good. When it's hot out, they don't know how to get water. They don't know how to treat water. It could get real bad real quick. We are not self-sufficient even remotely. There's small pockets of human beings in this country that are self-sufficient, but if you had to guess how many people could survive off-grid if everything went haywire, it's like 1%, which is probably what happens when there's a massive catastrophe, when some sort of a global catastrophic event like a super volcano or something along those lines.
Another younger Dryas situation.
Yeah, it's probably 1% of the people survive.
That's probably what happened back then, too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've always said is the reason why if you go back, look at like ancient Egypt, look at how insanely sophisticated they were. And if you subscribe to the Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson's perspective, which I do, which is that at one point in time, there was an incredibly sophisticated society, probably more sophisticated than we are, that lived in Africa, in Egypt, and that those people were probably in a different direction, but far more advanced than we are today. And then they were wiped out. And then go after that. So that if you're talking about 11,000 years ago, 11,800 years ago when they got wiped out and it just, we're down to like 1% of the population. Think about what history looks like when you go back 4,000 years, 3,000. It's fucking barbarians.
Yeah.
Just the most horrible instances of brutality and murder and chaos and what Genghis Khan did and what the Mongols did and the pirates and the Crusades and all the fucking horrible shit that people did back then. Because those were the descendants of the people that were so barbaric that they survived. Those are the descendants of the 1% that made it through that catastrophe. And you had to be fucking horrible to do that.
Yeah.
You probably had to be horrible. You're probably killing your neighbors, probably eating people. I mean, what percentage of our population, if you go back 10,000 years ago, were cannibals? It's probably pretty high.
50.
It's probably pretty high. If you had to do what you got to do. We know what happens to the Donner Party. We know what happens to people that get stuck on a boat. They're off at sea and one guy dies. They just start eating them.
Yeah,
we know that.
The movie Alive.
Yeah, it's like always happens. Yeah. It always happens.